What's the mood been like this year? Did you get the impression that the Oscars threw off that cloak of recession that they had last year? In America, it's been losing ratings. Do you think it still has the allure? Is this really still the big night in world showbiz? We will be looking at all the frocks a bit later on, so don't worry about that. But we've got the rest of the news first of all.
Thanks very much, Anna. Good morning. Tests are expected to take place today to establish the identities of 3 people who fell to their deaths from a block of flats. The bodies of...
Well, on the front pages of the morning... Hello there and a very good morning to you. You're watching Sunrise. Anna Botting here with you live through until 9. Still to come, we'll get a review of the morning papers with Louisa Fletcher. Very good morning to you. First, though, our top story that's emanating from that room as well. Right now, though, just before the papers, let's get the rest of the news. Here's Charlotte.
Thanks, Anna. Tests are expected to take place today to establish the identities of 3 people who fell to their deaths from a high-rise block of flats.
Well, I think we should all be sitting here like Lady Gaga with our teacups now after PDD said hello to the UK, have some tea, but maybe a bit later on. Now then, let's take a look at some of the morning papers. Louisa Fletcher is here out of jail, need to realise that they need to earn a proper living. And you wanted to pick up on the story as well, didn't you? The women who inspire me.
Yes.
So Sarah Brown, I think.
She was the first regular newsreader. But more than that, you know, achieved, but also to reflect on other women. It's more the thought that we should really be considering other women who perhaps aren't as fortunate as ourselves.
Well, an all-woman line-up here on Sky News. You've got very little time left. Which story would you like to choose? Katie, you don't want to be in there, really. Thanks very much indeed. More from Katie and more of the stars a little bit later on, but Charlotte's here right now with the rest of the day's news.
Thanks, Anna. Yes, tests are expected to take place today to establish the identities of 3 people who fell to their deaths from a block of flats.
Extraordinary story there, Charlotte. Thanks very much indeed. Now, hello there, very good morning to you. You're watching Sunrise. Anna Botting here with you live through until 9. Still to come, a review of the morning newspapers, Louisa Fletcher, and the news of the day with Charlotte. But first of all, let's just remind... Well, Katie, it was really quite a fascinating battle, wasn't it? It pitted ex-husband against ex-wife. It pitted big budget, big money as well in just a few minutes' time. But first of all, let's get the rest of the news with Charlotte.
Thank you, Anna. Tests are expected to take place today to establish the identities of 3 people who fell to their deaths from a high-rise block of flats. The bodies of the 2 men...
Charlotte, thank you. Well, let's take a look at some of the stories in the papers. Journalist Louisa Fletcher is here with me, and you've picked the James Bulger story to kick off with.
Yes, it's making headlines again as we go into the next week talking about this. Allegedly, he's being now held on clauses of child pornography. It's very much... It's a binary option. And realistically, what's the defence for that? There is none. It's indefensible. And let's not forget, we're not talking about a few here. According to reports, child pornography, disgusting as it is to talk about, is categorised on a sliding scale of 1 to 5. And the images that have reportedly been found that he's in possession of are actually category 4. And I quote, that is some of the most depraved and serious imagery that's possible.
I mean, these are allegations in the papers, obviously, and Jack Straw being very firm about that they won't get any more information out of him. So let's move on to the Daily Express, shall we?
I thought you were in prison to repay a debt to society. Maybe I got all of that wrong.
Now, for anyone who's wondering where Eamon Holmes is this morning, no doubt he's watching at home, but we're here because it's an all-female lineup today, because it is International Women's Day, and you've picked up on this story as well, haven't you, in the Daily Mirror?
Yes, they're girlfriends and wives presents.
What a great idea.
And we're all sat here working. Yeah. How does that work? Anyway, so when I first heard about International Women's Day, I was like, oh, that they wouldn't have been able to do 35 years ago.
Thank goodness, let's be honest.
Of what's been achieved.
And being held back in the boardroom as well.
Being in touch saying, when is International Men's Day?
Yeah, 364 days of the year, I think is the answer to that one, or 65.
Can I just say, I was ironing socks and shirts yesterday.
Lots more still to come, including on our website. Well, it wasn't just about the acting talent, of course, being celebrated at the Oscars. The ceremony was also a chance for Hollywood's best and worst-dressed stars to strut their stuff on the red carpet. The showbiz journalist Ashley Pearson is with me. Katie, where shall we start? Shall we start with a brave and risky choice in pale yellow?
The entire night with her mouth open, and I have a
bit, but I agree. It looked like one of those towels that you wear when, you know, the old-fashioned one when you're trying to get changed underneath.
It did nothing for her figure.
I think a lot of her clothes are mad, though, aren't they?
Well, I think they're partly intended to be, aren't they? Kate Winslet, very quickly.
Kate Winslet looks stunning.
I'm being pushed back by my friend here. We were told that. Again. I've been told I am the bane of his life. and I think we will find ourselves quite securely behind this rope line. Yeah, we're going to move a little bit sideways. It's
Very much indeed, and great that Sandra Bullock actually went to get her Razzie Award as well, wasn't it? Amazing stuff, that one. Lots more coverage, though, don't forget, on the Oscars on our website, skynews.com, and also the Hurt Locker, the big rest of the day's news, Charlotte.
Anna, thank you. Tests are expected to take place today to establish the identities of 3 people who fell to their deaths from a block of flats. Rona Dougal is at the scene in Glasgow.
Charlotte, thanks very much indeed. See you a bit later on. Trilingi standing by to talk to us very shortly. Let's get the rest of the news now. Here's Charlotte.
Thanks, Anna. Tests are expected to take place today to establish the identities of 3 people who fell to their deaths from a high-rise block of flats.
Charlotte, thanks very much indeed. Well, today...
Ahead on this morning's live desk, girl power at the Oscars.
anybody and everybody we were told would be here, specifically anybody who was anybody, and we have done our level best to get words with them by shouting at them, by pushing over the rope line, by stopping them with folders, by frankly just pleading with them to stop and talk to us. This is what remains of the press pen here. There have been several hundred of us crammed into here for the last few hours. You can see the remains of the snappers' pens there, men crammed quite deeply, shouting at stars for several hours at a time. They've all gone to, there's a burger stand has drawn up outside, so that's where everybody is. The stars are mostly in there. There's Madonna going on at the moment, and this is very much the party after the Oscars ceremony before. Some of them are already sneaking out. We've already seen Maggie Gyllenhaal leaving here, eating a burger, which was thrilling to see, and then going on to queue for a taxi. So proof tonight that Hollywood stars, and in some cases Oscar winners, still have to wait in a taxi queue and still sometimes eat burgers. They have all been coming here, often with their statues. Sandra Bullock was one who came mid-evening, and we spoke to her about what it was like getting up there onto the stage and what it was like now finally having hold of that precious Oscar.